Good morning, students of class 9. We'll continue our lesson in history, forest society and colonialism. Yesterday we have talked about, in our previous class we have talked about how were the lives of the people affected after the Forest Act. People were not allowed to go into or enter into the forest. Their lives were severely affected because local people or the village people or the forest people, they totally depended on forest. So once they were deprived or once they were not allowed to go into the forest, so their lives were severely impacted. Now we'll talk about more. How did the forest rules affect the cultivation? The people living in the forest, they used to cultivate certain areas of the land. And once they were not allowed to enter, so naturally they had nothing to survive. Now, forest people practice shifting cultivation. What is the meaning of shifting cultivation? I will provide you the points in our next class also. Today I will explain. So, the forest people practice shifting cultivation or Sweden cultivation, agriculture. Sweden agriculture, shifting cultivation, or you can say that's slash and burn. You can mention with these among these three, any one you can mention. It is the same thing, means the same thing. Shifting cultivation, Sweden agriculture, or slash and burn agriculture. So they used to practice this. Not only in India but around the world, all over the world, such as Asia, Africa, America, the people living in the forest or nearby the forest, they used to practice shifting cultivation. Here local names are given. Now here are certain names you can remember. Ladding in Southeast Asia. In Southeast Asia, this shifting cultivation was also called ladding. Milpa in Central America, Tavi in Africa, Chena in Sri Lanka. In India, there are many local names. In India, Dia, Penda, Jum, Podu, Kandad are local names in India. So now, these are the local names in different parts of the world. So now, what is shifting cultivation? Shifting cultivation means to clear some part of the forest for agriculture after cutting down the trees and burning them. Now let me read out a little bit. In shifting cultivation, part of the forest are cut down and they are burnt in rotation. Seeds are sown in the ashes. Once the plants are burnt, the seeds are sown in the ashes after the first monsoon shower, and the crop is harvested by October-November. By October-November, the crops are harvested. Such plots are cultivated for a couple of years. They will not remain in one place for a long time. They used to do this, practice this type of growing agriculture for a couple of years, for a few years, and once the nutrients of the soil decreases, they move to another area of the forest. Again they cut down the trees, burn them and sow the seeds during rainy season, and they used to harvest during October and November. They used to stay there for a few years, again they used to move around. So such plots are cultivated for a couple of years and then left fallow. Fallow means empty for 12 to 18 years. For 12 to 18 years the land was left like that so that more trees will grow and for the forest to grow back within this period. A mixture of crop is grown on these plots. These local people or the forest people used to grow various type of crops. In central India and Africa it could be millets. In India they used to grow millets. In Brazil, manioc. And in other parts of Latin America, maize and beans. Apart from millets in India, they used to grow potatoes, maize, some kind of vegetables, and in this way they maintain their livelihood. But once the Forest Act was implemented, they find it very, very difficult to maintain their life. They were not allowed to enter the forest. So how would they grow such crops? How would they survive? It was a big question for them. So in our next class, we'll talk about shifting cultivation. I'll give you the points and we'll continue further. So that's all for today. Now you stay safe at home, keep on reading, do your work properly, and let's hope the school will open soon, and stay safe at home. Thank you very much for watching the video. So keep on studying.